of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning, everybody. Good morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, we're good.
You're good. Okay, approve the agenda.
We have an addition to the agenda, we're gonna add one more to the tax sale certificate line, parcel number 02-16303-906. It's a BOLA, building on land of another. It's attached to the one before it, and I didn't see it until... Yes, that's a vote.
I'd make a motion to approve with that addition.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Approve the minutes.
Motion to approve, last week's minutes.
We're back.
I'll second the minutes.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. General public concern.
I was just going to ask what I saw in the minutes that you discussed the replacement tile for 35, just wondering if you got any information.
I talked with Jason, he was in there, and he says they have been out and marked them all. Some of them they are gonna repair, but some they are replacing, and it is on schedule, I guess. So, since they've been moved, he's been out and looked at them.
He was here last Monday.
Well, Harlan, or is your consideration the crush and place put the new tile in the spot of the old tile?
Well, I was just wondering if those several damaged ones...
Oh, that, yeah.
Yeah, he says they have the tile.
They have that, okay.
Yeah, he told me they have the tile, so.
And the other point, they are looking into put it back in the same spot, if applicable, if doable. On the upper end part of it, towards the end.
Thanks for the update.
Anybody else? Moving right along. Becky Struthers, Old City Clerk.
Come on up, Becky. Come on up.
I've been kind of working with Jana also, but the city of Bode is trying to acquire 2 properties. We've been working with our attorney for probably about a year and a half now. But the 2 properties are dilapidated, haven't had water, people in there for quite a while. I guess I'm here to ask for abatement on taxes and interest on administration.
And then assignment of the tax sale
Yeah,
certificate.
okay. So the first property I have, it's 101 Rossi. Actually 2 parcels there, and that one's a little bit difficult, but what we're looking at is $1,027.22, and that includes the taxes, interest, and also administration fees. And the second property, we're looking at, the physical address is 501 First Street, and I'm looking at $774.76, and that also is interest, administration, and taxes. There's a drainage on that one that we will pay.
Okay.
They'll pay the tax, and they're asking that the penalty and interest be abated. And the tax is just the drainage is just $45 and some odd cents.
Okay.
44 cents. And then the 3 certificates that are for those 3 parcels should be, well,
It's 3, right?
yeah, 'cause that last one that she added, we don't have a certificate on building of land of another by law, we can't sell those at tax sales,
One of them.
so they'll have to go to the court.
Yeah, we're working with an attorney, so we may have to go,
Oh, it's a mobile home, you said?
it's a mobile home, yep.
Oh.
And a different owner has the home versus the land, so they can acquire the land through the tax sale process, but they, the mobile home has to go through the
The
court.
mobile home, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
What do you wanna do with them?
So everything's fine and
Yeah.
paperwork wise, okay?
You're good with it, Janet?
Yep, we'll get some
Well, it gives
Some
you-
cleaned up properties.
Gives you the ability to clean it up.
That's just it.
Otherwise, it just sits there and causes problems. and-
Well, they're costly to clean up. I mean, we did work with an asbestos inspector, he was coming last week. So then we'll do the abatement, and whether our fire department can burn one down, we're not sure. We might have to go with the contractor to remove it.
Okay.
So I'll make the motion to, approve the abatement
in the assignment of the three tax dollars.
and the assignment of 3 tax bills for the 3 parcels.
I'll second that motion.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good job.
I agree with
I can tell it's been a lot of fun at this point.
Yeah.
I'll be right in, all right, I'll leave this, I'll go to your office. Okay.
Okay, Janet.
Okay, so I had a request, to have taxes suspended on a parcel that is in Livermore, and that they qualify through the government, low-income qualifications, and I got the paperwork from them that states that, and just asking your permission to go ahead and do that. So, I don't know if you have a copy of the letter that, okay.
I'll just, give us a brief overview of this whole, suspending taxes?
Yes, for those that meet the requirements, I get a statement from the Department of Human Services, and they can apply to have their taxes suspended, which means they don't have to pay the property taxes as long as they own it, and they won't accrue any late fees or penalties because of their qualifications. And it just sits out there as owing but not due. And until it transfers ownership or their income changes, they have to apply every year.
Yeah.
We haven't had one for several years.
And you don't collect back when it does sell or
No.
anything. It's
We-
just like, the taxes while they use it.
They have to pay the tax, but no penalty.
Say that again?
Once it transfers,
Right.
the taxes have to be brought current.
They do, oh, they do?
But they don't have to pay penalties, so they're not forgiven, they're just put on hold.
Okay, I thought they were given, the way I understood it.
So it's, yeah, suspended, so is that typically, say, the new owner would end up probably,
Right.
because obviously the person that owns it's asking for the suspension.
They'll
Right.
probably never pay it, yeah.
That's a weird deal.
It is, it's different. I'll make a motion to, approve the suspension of property taxes on those 2 properties in Livermore.
Second.
Any other discussion?
Other question is, you can't, debate this, or...
Don't really have a choice, I just have
You
to...
can't say, we don't like this,
Mhm.
our county doesn't agree with this.
The state law, they show that they qualify, you pretty much have...
So
to-
they own this property then, if they're the paying...
And the thing is,
taxes.
more than likely, they can't afford it, that's why they're doing this.
Right.
They ain't gonna get it anyway.
Yeah.
You didn't have the letters.
Right, then it's gonna go to...
Penalties and stuff like that,
Just
it's just like on the exempt law,
Yeah.
you know. So it's the same situation, do we all like it? No, but we have to
I don't like it, I don't like it a bit.
Yeah.
Just checking, now,
Yeah,
my
they
question,
have-
you don't have a rebuttal saying that...
When they qualify through Department of Human Services based on income, and they apply and we acknowledge it, more or less.
Okay, that's my question.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you, Kathy. Okay, we've got a couple of minutes here, so let's move down to claims.
Okay, I got a number of $238,547.46 on claims, and drainage of $43,186.23.
What I had, I'll second.
Any discussion, any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
We wanna help our law officials out here,
Yeah, let's move
quit getting an eye.
We can move one down to, approve promotion.
So, since, this spring, we've had a vacant full-time position open, as I've told you guys in the past, we did not fill that position till the summer months because we had contracted with Raleigh and Webster County, kind of used the savings we had from that to offset his expenses. We've got to the point now, we feel like it's time to fill that full-time position, so we currently have one of our part-timers, Ashlyn Davis, who is interested in taking that full-time position, which would be an overnight job. So that's what the first part is, and then the second part is to fill a vacant, because Shirley Boomgarden, who is retiring effective August 31st, we've hired a part-timer to replace her. She started last week one day she's already still got a full-time job, but she was coming in on some evenings on a few of her days off, try to kind of get a head start on the training process. And I think she started last Tuesday, so I guess we're just asking for formal approval to accept her as a new employee for part-time.
Okay, first one for promote Ashland to a full-time. We got a motion?
I'll make the motion for that appointment.
Second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay. Now we got, hire Christine as a part-time.
I'll make the motion to hire Christine Fryer as a part-time jailer.
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good. Did you put up your sign that you showed us someplace for people to shoot at?
Yeah, we were gonna put it at Saturn's, but then, Gary Nave talked about it, and he's gonna put it over there by his building there somewhere,
Oh.
right further into town and stuff, so. I got,
One you might want to pay attention to.
Awesome.
It just says, to drug dealers, please report your competition as the sheriff's office phone number.
I got 3 other ones too, so.
Well, get them put up, I think it's pretty catchy.
Well, we thought maybe in Dakota City, and maybe one up in Livermore, Bode, and Renwick somewhere, I don't know, so Gilmore City.
There you go.
I got 3 others.
Kind of a neat deal.
Yeah, it kinda, it catches your eye. so.
Yeah, makes you think a little bit.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay. It's still early.
My dog Ben would be mad if,
He probably would. Ben? Sure. We're 5 minutes early for a change. 3 minutes, what is that?
I'm not gonna complain. Morning.
morning.
Got a couple things on the agenda for today. The first one you guys probably already saw in the claims area, but we've got approved pay voucher number 1 to Midwest Contracting for project LC 171109 for $101,201.26. This is for the box culvert job that they did week before last on Washington Avenue over by Thor.
Look good, I haven't been out and looked at it.
It does, it looks really good. We've still got what little bit of dirt left out there that we gotta haul away. I talked to Denny this morning, and they're gonna try and get most of that done before the rain today, but didn't know if they'd get it all done beforehand.
So this sit through where then? Will we patch it?
It's gravel.
It's gravel?
Yeah, so we'll just top it off as it settles.
And it's something you can, good.
Yep.
I guess I better drive out there and look at it.
It looks nice.
They all look nice when you get them in.
Right?
They do.
No guardrail and no load ratings posting on it, so.
Yeah, they're a nice thing to get done.
Yep.
I would make a motion on that LC 171109.
I'll second that.
Payment of $101,201.
$201.26.
Whatever.
It's all listed.
Yeah. All okay, got a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
All carried.
For our box covers
Mhm.
and our spraying program. And it's certainly fine, you had one, I don't know where it was, not this one. The gist of it is, keep the weeds down. If they
Yes,
just put that on their list of...
to get out there and get some...
Maintenance.
We
You know,
need to
remember
get the seed
when our
on it.
man died, so what are they doing out there? Basically, I think they were spraying around the box culvert.
Yes, the box over by Severs Griffith quarry that we did, because they finished late in the season, it was like the end of November, we didn't throw out any kind of winter seed mix, and then with the wet spring that we had, the button weeds and the iron weeds came up, and basically choked out the grass that we had thrown out, so.
That's just that's what you face when you, I don't care if it's a box culvert or something else.
When you're just disturbed dirt, all you get is butt.
Yeah, it's all,
Yes.
it's amazing.
Yeah.
Feeding and then...
I know.
The seed for those take off like crazy, but...
Oh, yeah.
Even in dry weather,
Yeah, they always
can't get
come
grass
up.
to grow, but weeds will come up in a heartbeat.
The only time you gotta mow is to knock down the weeds.
Yep.
Keep up the good work of obviously getting it seeded as
Yes.
quick as possible, and don't short the amount of seed.
And Denny's working down in that area, so I'll say something to him as soon as he gets the
Get it
dirt out,
seeded.
to get the hydro
Great-
seeder out there.
Great time to seed.
Yep.
Yeah, great time to seed, and then, yeah, it's awesome if they, keep the weed control up till the seeding gets going.
Yes.
It usually takes a couple, 3 years.
Yeah, it just depends. Timely rains after we get the seed bedded in really helps.
I mentioned to you down ISAC, when I was talking to the guy from Independence, he said that he was using rail cars, flat cars,
Mm-hmm.
for bridges instead of putting culverts and stuff.
Yep.
Is there any chance we can do some of that?
Possibly. The problem that we run into with ours is a lot of times the abutments are what's bad with the bridge. I mean, when you drive over the top of the bridge, everything looks great.
Man, above it, you probably could.
If you had a good cement abutment, you could just take the deck off and put these rail cars in. Otherwise, what some counties are doing is they've got their own bridge crew with about 4 or 5 guys, and they've either got a crane or they've got a large excavator with a pile driving head, and they'll drive their own piling in and pour a brand new cap, and then put these flat rail cars on top of that, weld them together, and then they basically fill the bed full of rock, and you drive over the top. I mean, it's a neat process. I think you probably have as much, if not more, wrapped up in those than you would a box culvert job, but...
I was wondering about it when you do all that different work, if it's any cheaper.
Probably get more volume of water into that.
You can probably fit more volume of water under that.
Oh,
than you
underneath
could
the rail
through.
cars?
Yeah.
Oh.
What was it, 119 feet long, the big ones?
Versus an 10 by 10 rock, so.
Yeah, I say, they're usually about 20,000 apiece,
And puts 3 abreast.
and I was at 20,000 for each car, so you'd have 60,000
60,000 in it.
in rail car.
And he's got his own bridge crew, sounds like, so.
Yep. Yeah, a lot of us are trying to find innovative ways to save the county's money, because you've only got so much pie.
Travel roads.
Right, yep.
He was talking about one over there that took a concrete bridge out, and he says, I blame the farmer. He said they went in and they cut all the trees in the ditch and left them lay.
And then a flood came through.
They started fielding all out into the ditch, like they do in every county. Get that extra 2 or 3 rows, and he says then they got the high waters and flood, they took them trees right down, took the bridge right out.
Yeah.
Got pictures of some of them. He says, I blame that one on the...
So did that guy's insurance cover it? I don't know.
He didn't say, he just said, I blame that. He had pictures of different bridges, and he says, I blame this one on it, trying to get an extra roll out of it.
was that the salesman that you were talking to?
No, that was one of the guys that, was doing the program for the floods.
For the floods, okay.
We got all kinds of stuff on flood.
Yeah, we've looked at rail cars. There's a company out there, by the name of Odin. They do the same thing, only theirs is precast slabs. So you drive your piling, pour in a abutment cap, and then they bring out the slabs on a flat car, and you just pick them up and set them.
$2.8 million for that structure.
That's how much he spent?
How much it took out that bridge.
Oh, the bridge that went out.
$2.8 million.
That was a big bridge. Oh.
Yeah, I was gonna say
And
that.
out, trees dumped, and one takes the trees right on down against the bridge, took it out.
And they replaced that with rail cars?
Now, this one here, they replaced back with a concrete bridge.
Okay.
This one must've been Fayette County.
Oh.
Okay.
Ron Marlett was the one that gave this presentation.
The Fayette County engineer used to be the one in Palo Alto over here. We'll keep looking.
Well, if it's ever an option, we can always look, I mean,
Yep.
Yeah, we get spots where they don't work.
right.
It's gotta be the right place, but, well, they're
Right
already working on
situation.
a project this week, as I understand it.
Right. We've already pulled the bridge deck off. The boat shop is in the process of tearing the west abutment out. We're supposed to have the rail car delivered on Thursday for the job on 165th.
So, I mean, kinda going outside the box a little bit, with rail. car
Right.
stuff.
I'm hopeful that
Is that the
one
first
will...
one in the county that's ever been used?
We did 3 of them right next to each other down by, Larry
Oh,
Williams.
those were,
Yep.
Rail cars.
Yeah, and then
Those
they
were
did,
real
and they did 2 private crossings with them.
Yeah, I'd say, I know quite a few guys have used them for private crossings.
It's just the top of the rail car?
No, this
With
is...
these, it's the round ones like you see oil tankers.
Oh,
Heading
okay. I was
down.
like getting...
Yeah, we haven't done any flatbed things.
We haven't done any
It's like
flatbeds.
those right there, okay.
You can do the half ones too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And we're looking at the possibility of doing a couple of half ones here in the future.
All right.
Yeah, we wanna see how this one goes with the guys, and,
You do a half to the for a cement bottom or just block it?
they've got a steel welded,
Oh, they weld the steel bottom now?
right.
Oh.
So all you have to do is basically do a flat floor,
Or
but,
just set it in and cover it up?
yes.
Oh.
That we'd probably have to have a crane or something to
Guess so.
be able to set it.
Yeah,
But-
go roll it.
Yeah, that one you're not gonna be able to roll, no. But where you've got, shallow ditches and basically 3 foot up for a
Not enough
road.
cover, yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't have enough cover to do a whole round, you could do a half.
Oh, I see. The space, that makes sense. You learn something every week.
Okay, second on the list, I've got to approve the purchase of a loader backhoe for Humboldt County. I've included copies of the 3 quotes that we've gotten. We have demoed both, of the low quotes in the past week. The operators like both of them. The guys that ran the deer like the deer, the guys that ran the case like the case. I mean, we're looking at upgrading 31-plus years from what we've got for a machine right now.
Is that old?
The existing case that's in Bode right now is an 88,
Wow.
so
It looks a lot newer than that.
we take really good care of it. I guess, Joe, my guy up in Bode, I mean, he's run a case for the last 25 years, so he's comfortable in the case. One of my other operators ran the deer, and his comment was, boy, that thing's really smooth. So when you look at them side by side, the deer is, $400 cheaper by the time you have the extended warranty. and they're both basically delivered around the same date. The big issue, I guess, that separates the two is where you have to get service out of, where you'd have to haul the machine to if it was a major repair, and where the service technician is coming to come and fix the equipment if it does break down.
Fort Dodge versus...
Fort Dodge versus Des Moines or Clear Lake.
Either one, they just...
Right.
I was gonna say, you got a double the warranty on that.
It's still gonna be 5 years. I mean, the hours...
You don't put that many hours on.
You don't put that many hours on.
We both have a 5-year
It's gonna be a 5-year warranty. The machine that we've got right now, the 88, I just called and asked them, they said it was around 4,500 hours on it. Right. So in 30 years, they put almost 5,000 hours on it.
So the deer, if you divide that by 31 years, is $3,300, well, about $3,400 a year, if you look at it that way.
Okay.
If you just take the cost divided by how many years, if you keep this one up as well.
Do we only have, how many backhoes do we have?
We have two backhoes countywide.
Right now.
We've got a 2015 John Deere
Hardy?
in Hardy and the 88 case in Bode. So anytime the Humboldt shop needs a loader backhoe, they have to go to one of the other shops and borrow them. We waste half a morning transporting.
Are we keeping this 88?
So we're looking at keeping the 88 and bringing it down to Humboldt. When I started looking
A lot of
at...
hours you put it on, that sucker could last another 20 years before you
Right.
get up to,
And what you're looking at for trade-in, you're talking 10, maybe 15,000 for it. To me, that's worth keeping it in the county.
We know what it's like.
Machine.
That's the kicker, in my opinion. Keep it.
So this one, the 88 will move to Humboldt?
So the 88 will move to Humboldt, and then the new machine will go to Bode.
Well, having said that, the case, when you mentioned the guys running that from the boat shop,
Mhm.
they actually use it, would it make more sense that they're comfortable with and prefer maybe like the case to look that route? I'm not really concerned about the distance between Clear Lake and Fort Dodge. They're both,
Once you load them, it's...
well, hopefully we don't...
Both machines are very similar.
A brand new machine, as far as loading it up and hauling it off someplace, that should be years down the road.
Yeah.
Granted, they may send out a tech somewhere, there's a thing, but then, like we noted, they've got good warranties on them.
Right, they both got very good warranties. I mean, I listed,
And you're paying for the extended warranty.
right, we'd be looking at adding the extended warranty. The standard warranty is 1 year. The extended warranty carries us out to 5.
It carries it 5.
Yes.
So, and you would sure hope with any new machine that any warranty work is a service call.
Within the 5 years, any warranty work is gonna be covered, absolutely.
Right, but I mean, the fact that just loading up, hauling someplace isn't something that you gotta really worry about too much.
Not for the first 5 years, no.
No.
Beyond that,
If
you're
you want
paying...
something that you gotta load up and haul off to the shop very often, then you better be getting something different. I mean, these have been, even with that case, I don't mean, that's 30-plus years old.
Right.
I mean, I've seen that in the shop.
Well, I know we'd taken it, years ago, there used to be a different operator, or a different mechanic up here at Red Power, and he used to be able to work on the construction side of things. He's since retired. They don't have a guy that works on the construction side of things, they stay in agricultural. So the only way that we'd get service is you pay trip charge for a mechanic to drive from Clear Lake or Des Moines over here, or you haul it to them, so.
So difference being it's $406.
Difference being it's $406,
Any kind of service work would be cheaper out of Fort Dodge, because you're paying less road time.
right.
Yeah, like I said, that, I guess my point is...
Why not give the local business, if there's no real difference between the machine, why not give the local business the same?
I guess what I'm saying is, what do the guys that are gonna run it prefer to run? If it's a case, if they're familiar, they use it, does it make more sense to stick with that? They're happy, they did demonstrate them both.
They demoed both. They didn't, Cat was out for me just because they were another $15,000 higher. You know, I mean, they were 15% higher than any other bid, so I just looked at the other two and demoed the other two.
Which, that's fine.
But
Just that,
Joe drive the John Deere, did he like it?
Joe didn't get to drive the John Deere, Kevin drove the John Deere, Joe ran the case, and like I said, Joe has only run a case. So Joe's preference is the case. They're both brand new, they're both shiny. In the end, my opinion is it comes down to closeness of service.
that to me is crucial.
Plus the interchangeability between that machine and the one with Hardy. I mean, we've got a shaker head that goes on the John Deere. That shaker head would be able to go over to Bode, they can use that, you're not worried about switching oils between the two.
Go with the
Compactor.
I
So you
second.
can, yeah, so you can shake.
For John Deere?
Yeah,
Yep.
just for...
Okay, we'll start a second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Order the John Deere.
Was that with the extended warranty on there, guys? So I-
Yes, yes.
The last item I have on the agenda is to approve the agreement for the resolution 2019-16 for Humboldt County to apply for the $10,000 sign grant that we've done in the past. This is funding that's available through the Iowa DOT, to replace certain signs throughout the county. What we're looking at this year is replacing all the chevrons that go into and out of curves throughout the county. There's just under, I think there's 258 chevrons in the county to replace.
Wow.
So, we'd be looking at replacing all those as well as any bent-up brackets or posts that are pieced together or not long enough.
Get them as flat and straight as that, we will.
I'll make a motion to approve the application for the sign replacement grant with the resolution 2019-16.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Then, Jessen, speaking of signs, this is not your thing, it's the county's. Who's in charge of the 911 street signs?
So that'd be Sheree Sexy.
Has it been brought up recently that they need, a lot of those need replacing?
Yes, Deputy Borland is the one that basically installs those, that's his weekend job. We allow him to store the Telespar posts out at the county, and then he orders the signs in. There was an issue, from what I understand, with the last batch or two of signs that he got. They're fading really bad.
Yeah.
I assume that's what you're noticing.
Yep.
Yeah, they're almost white.
They're very hard to see.
Yes.
But I know he's aware of it, and he's planning on replacing as many as he can. But I don't know what their timetable is.
I know this isn't your deal, but they are aware of it, and they're working on it.
Yeah, but if you want more details, you can contact
Kenny.
Sharice or Kenny,
Okay.
and he'd be able to tell you more.
Okay. That, some of them have been there a really long time, too. It's really good replacement.
And then they upsized, and they used to be smaller ones, then they made bigger ones, now those are the bigger ones that are fading out.
I think so.
Yeah, they upsized them to meet the MUTCD as far as the size of the lettering for visibility. But there was something wrong with the sheeting, where basically the green faded a lot faster than what it was supposed to.
You're absolutely right.
So, yeah, I noticed that
Yeah,
too.
it's really, some of them are really bad. No, I'll just, yeah, it's a concern, you wanna see where you're at.
Absolutely, yep.
Okay. Did you come across anything down in Des Moines?
Of interest?
You know, there was a couple of interesting meetings. There was definitely a heated discussion at the ATVs on gravel roads
Oh, yeah.
on Thursday afternoon. We did, our one course for ethics the next day, as well as a exec board meeting, where they talked about, Ringgold County is gonna be losing some HBP money for their bridge replacements. They haven't had a full-time engineer in 2 years to be able to sign plans, and the DOT won't let them sign plans without a full-time engineer, so they're gonna lose about $300,000. That will go back to the other 98 counties, so we'll get a small portion of that money bumped to us. And it looks like we're gonna start doing the, both the Iowa and the Iowa State Career Fair in the spring and the fall now. Typically, we've just had a presence in the spring, which is great if you're looking for summer help. But if you're looking for full-time help, a lot of times those people have already signed
Yep, they've already got it.
a contract for a full-time job.
And the fall one's really starting to grow too.
Yeah,
It's really getting bigger.
and it sounds like the fall one is spreading to the point where it's even 2 days because it's
It
gotten
is.
so big.
Yeah.
And I believe that's at the end of September is what they had said.
Yeah.
So secondary roads, or Iowa County Secondary Roads is planning on having a booth this fall as well, so.
We appreciate, Dave and I were wandering around Thursday with our plates, looking for a place to sit down, and we hear this, hey! You turn around, here's Ben sitting there. He had a couple of chairs, we got to have lunch at,
Somebody's whispering over in the advertisers booth.
somebody's left, we were headed that way, and
Did they have a good crowd down there?
pretty good.
I think they had a pretty good turnout, you know, and Humboldt always has a good representation down there, so.
In the meeting on Thursday morning, with secondary roads, the
Surf deck.
Surf deck, yeah, was, allocated for this year, about right where they thought. Next year, they're projecting like a 1.5 down, so they still think it has something to do with the electric cars and less fuel money, and I don't think we have a real run on plug-ins that I've seen around that, you know, for, around the smaller areas, but there are some people that have them, but they have the plug-in stations in Des Moines.
I know one of Webster County Supervisors has an electric car,
Yep. Yeah, he did.
but I've never asked him, you know, how many miles he can get or whatnot.
I'd be more worried in the wintertime when you take off for some place with an electric car, and you always worry about it gelling up on diesel, but we're losing power.
Well, the Hilton there had a plug-in station.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's what he's told me, he says, it's kinda nice, you just drive down there and then they just plug it in for you.
Yeah.
So you get a free charge while you're there too.
You should, for what one of those vehicles costs.
They did talk
But you
about,
know, the other, Iowa's taxes are paying for them cars,
That's the bad part.
$7,500 a pop,
Oh, really?
yeah.
but they did talk about that is gonna be something that you're not gonna get away with from, they are going to come around with the ability to tax you for...
It sounds like they're gonna add it to your, licensing, the registration that you have every year. They're just gonna tack on $250 or
I mean,
whatever
they're
it
using the
is.
roads too.
Absolutely, yep.
You know.
So, yeah, that was a pretty good meeting then, and they are looking, so if you know any engineers, any small county, 'cause they had like 3 guys retire, what's his name?
The middle counties.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're looking for a few medium-sized counties to get on that board. I know legislation-wise, what they're talking about, kicking around is, adding a surcharge to, farm diesel.
That was
Yeah,
discussed.
that got brought.
That's a hot one.
That's-
Oh, it
that's
did, it
gonna be
did
a
not
big
go
argument.
over.
That might go too far.
Yeah.
Well, I don't
I don't think so either.
I don't think that it's gonna be dropped. Farm Bureau's
Right.
probably gonna be the biggest component to it, but, you know, by the same token, everybody else pays taxes on it, and I think that's the rate that they're gonna push it is, you gotta get something out.
And nobody knows what percentage, I mean,
Right.
you know, farmers spend a majority of the time in the field,
Yeah, what
So-
percentage is on the roads?
So, yeah, you'd have to figure out what you think the percentage is on the road
If you-
and tax
if you have
based
a-
on that.
They're gonna fight tooth and nail on it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. They mainly be.
And this would be something that would be decades
Decades.
from now. You know, I mean, it took a decade to get the 10-cent tax.
Decade, it
raise.
took 19 years.
Well,
Well, then, having said that, this may be something we don't have to.
Exactly. But that's something that they discussed as well.
Interesting.
Actually, I think it took longer than 19 years.
It was quite a while.
It was 98, I think it's 98 to, probably about 20 years.
and that was the part of the discussion when they talk about 0.25%, that it's like, all this stuff is like, how do you, that's each person's, or each share of, and it's like, wow. So, anyway, we enjoyed lunch with you.
Yes. Oh, that was good. All right.
Thank you.
That's all I had. Thank you.
Hit on a lot of interesting topics down there.
You do.
Well, there's several that were really interesting, that, and then a couple of ones that were like, holy smokes,
Snoozers.
how did we get involved in this, so.
Okay. Discuss action on board meeting for next week, September 2nd. Labor Day. We want to meet, we have a lot coming up.
We did claims today, so that'll push the claims,
No, they would've been the 9th anyway, because we always do the 2nd and the 4th.
Yeah, so, I think we're fine.
traditionally we don't, unless we have something coming up following. I guess I would make a motion to push it off to the following week,
Second that?
whatever that, to the 9th.
So we're gonna cancel the September 2nd meeting then.
That's my, yep.
If an emergency arises.
Yeah, we're not sure.
We got DD 11-5 on Monday the 9th.
That'll be an exciting meeting.
Yeah.
Read your information. Did you read this letter?
No, I didn't.
Read it. Not as exciting as you think.
Oh, okay.
Okay, any other discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Approved tax levies for fiscal year 19 and 20, property tax.
I gave you guys copies of not only the current fiscal year, but, the prior year behind it, so that if you wanna do any comparing, on your own, you certainly can. Some are up, some are down, depends on where you live. You may find that your school district levy went up, but the county went down, or the city went down, or different varying, just so you guys can have comparison. All in all, when I was running samples of tax sheets, most taxes went up by a little bit. They weren't huge increases. I saw a commercial one with a larger increase, but, most of the residential ones that I checked were very small increases, so. But everything depends on where you live. The levy sheet is set out at the top of all your townships. And your townships are split by what school districts that township is in. And then underneath that, where it says agricultural lands within towns, that's your ag land, within all the
City
different
limits.
cities, yep, the city limits. And then the incorporated towns over to the right is all your city levies, with the school, the county, and the college. So that's what they'll use to base their taxes on, and next year when they do their budgeting. And then your general levies are set off, kinda off to the right there, past the township levies, how much general basic is, brucellosis, we're required to levy for that. community services, which is your mental health levy, debt service, general supplemental. Rural basic is only charged to the people out in the country, not the people in town. And then it gives you a subtotal of those levies, and then it adds the assessor, the extension, and the hospital.
So the bottom line, being the bottom line, would be that far right hand for comparison from year to year, would it not?
Well, not from year to year. You'd have to look at, yeah.
Go back page.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
this is 17, this is
So
18.
you can certainly see that as far as people in the city go, last year's levy was 7.5, and this time it's 7.4, so it did go down. And then as far as the rural, it was 11.46, and then it's 11.38, so both of those went down.
That's what I was driving at.
Yeah,
This is the overall comparison.
and that's without the schools and the grade schools and colleges,
The hospital.
and the township, yeah. The hospital's in there,
Hospitals and then, okay.
yeah. The taxes have been certified to the treasurer, and we just need to approve the levies so that everybody knows what they are for next year.
Is this what, you seen that white car sitting in the parking lot over the weekend? Was that what you were working at?
What I was doing, yeah,
I figured.
trying to make sure all the numbers added across, and...
I just figured you couldn't sleep, and you were just...
No, I'd gotten the top part done before I went to Isaac, and I had to get these two bottom ones finished out, and then add it up.
I bet it's an eye popper.
It does.
Yeah.
Well, your eyes just kinda, you have to get up and walk around a little bit and come back to it.
Yep.
And use your words.
Yeah.
Big ruler.
Okay, well, I'll make a motion to approve the tax levies for the fiscal year 2019-20 property taxes.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Peggy, back to the deal in Des Moines, that, meeting that we had on our, that Senate File 634, talking about when we have to do the publication, another publication.
Yeah.
What's your take on that and how, I mean, I still don't understand why they're wanting to do this.
Yeah.
It's another,
Because the legislature said so.
Well, I understand that.
One night it had an agenda, and this is what he wanted.
but all it's gonna do is cost us
Yeah.
to put it in the paper, to publish it, to get them,
And then it won't even be the final anyway, because it doesn't have the,
another column that you get to deal with.
it doesn't have the mental health portion in it, and there's something, all the the extra,
Couple things were exempt from that.
yeah.
And we
the
can
bond,
still
I think
change it.
it's workable, I think it's something that we can do, but it's just gonna take extra time, and then now we're moving our deadline back to the end of March instead of the middle of March,
Right.
so it just gives you more time to get things published for those of us that have just a weekly paper rather than a daily. But,
Well, I was trying to see your reaction when
Yeah.
she was going over all this. I was trying to look over there to see if I was getting the glare or...
It was no surprise. It was totally-
Well, I figured
The
you...
first time we heard this, it's like, oh, man, you know,
Yeah.
but you get used to it, and you do what you do, so.
Well-
Whether it will trigger anything further, I have no idea.
Sandy and I were kinda sitting back there as armchair quarterback, like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, it just seems like it's silly.
Extra paperwork.
Right, extra paperwork, plus it's not really giving us the true accurate number.
Yeah.
And so you can have people look at this number, and then they're gonna see the new numbers, if they don't understand why the new number's different, because of things that we're not supposed to put in there.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
But the original bill that was proposed was a lot worse. This is kind of a compromise to get it to go through, and so the compromise is much better than what the original bill was written.
You're good with
Still not
that?
good.
Like extra public hearing if it's 2% over what your budget was.
You have to have it no matter what.
Yeah.
Oh,
And you're-
regardless now.
Right.
And you should public hearing.
We don't get many here when we have the final one to say, okay, here's what we're doing, and,
Yep.
you know, no comment for the most part, probably a good thing, I guess, but mean, if somebody had a question, they could certainly come and ask you guys.
Okay, moving on, we're down to committee report.
Well, on semi-official business, this past Friday, the 23rd, Dave, Rick, and I, as far as the Board of Supervisors, went out. The ag law closure project is just wrapped up, and the Follisons, and we met with the Secretary of Agriculture, Mike Nigg, wanted to come out and take a look at that, so felt that we had a good discussion with him.
Yep.
He looked it over,
So
expressed
you
some of our
talked for a
concerns.
half hour, 45 minutes with him?
Yeah, he was very gracious. Well, Mike is a really nice guy, obviously,
Mhm.
and, you know, whether any of it sunk in or not.
I think he, you know, we drove over to where the ag issue is by Gilmore City after this, looking at the one, and he was glad to get out there and physically actually see it, you know, and,
To see what we're faced with.
yeah. You
Good.
know,
Really, it's what they're faced with.
Well, I don't think that that's a debatable topic,
No,
because
it's their
it's
done.
still located in Humboldt County, and
It's our problem.
they're gonna wash their hands of it, whether it's early or whether it's late. And,
And wasn't he the one in the meeting that said, hey, if they don't have a plan, when the money is done, it's done?
Yeah, that's what
Unless they have
it
a plan in place, is
Right.
it still?
Yeah, it's still that way.
They're kind of requested they look at it alternatively as well.
Yeah, you can, but it's sometimes like talking to a wall.
Yeah, but still. So, it was better that he came out and we had a chance to visit with
I
him.
think it was. I think it made an impression on him where he could see it. You're standing there and you can see Highway 3 going by and you know, the issues you're gonna run into if you do try to make it a wetlands and so,
Yeah. If they get a plan, or they don't lose the money.
that's right. He did kind of reiterate that.
Were any of the landowners out there for that?
Just Louis.
That was my question.
No, none of the other landowners, because that was kind of an impromptu thing. We had him there looking at the one closed well. I said, we're only 2 miles from here. I said, let's go over there, and it's a little gal that
Dave made sure
monitored
that...
his time. He says, you only got 13 minutes.
You didn't know, yours.
And he says, well, move that meeting back, and he says, she got on her phone and she moved something back, so he gave us more time and we went over and looked at it. Yeah, it was nice when he take the time to go look, because he's that close.
Right.
But, no, thanks
So
for
do you think,
making
will
sure he went...
the department give any more,
That was good.
support to keep the landowners going, or the meeting with them, do you think, now that he sees it?
I think so. I think he realizes that we are working in that direction, and I think he'll be a little more supportive.
That'll help, hopefully,
Yeah.
the landowners.
He wasn't, you know, me and you talked to him down there one time, he was kinda like short with us, like, I went out to Humboldt County.
I know, that's why I was like...
Yeah, I had a conversation with him separate than you two, same difference earlier on this year.
Yeah.
But I felt he was more receptive,
He was way more
This time.
receptive this time.
being out there.
Yeah.
They actually looked at it this
Yeah, and Dave said, make sure you take him up the road, if you will. It's great to look at what's completed.
Right.
You know, they're all patting themselves on the back and
Oh,
falling
yeah.
over themselves. And like Bruce mentioned, you know, well, they throw it in the county's lap, well, here's money and get it done.
Right.
But remember, the county, our county and all the rest of them never put out a mandate of closing them. The state, DNR. So, I'm still saying they dropped the ball, particularly on these harder to contend with ones, that you just don't slap in a
When he's
pipe.
up there, he can look at it, he can see how low Highway 3 is. If they do anything up there, it's gonna flood it.
Well, you were there, we kind of, the conversation was jokingly, well, do you suppose we're gonna create a viaduct on Highway 3 here to get over this lake that could be created? And we also mentioned, with the help of an interjection of Louis Follison, who was very familiar with the area, there is untold number of natural sinks out there because of the limestone bedrock. There's way more water going down there than is going any of these ag wells. We just gave him a lot of food for thought.
Yeah, we did.
And, you know, like you said, I'm not holding my breath, but...
We had a good dialogue.
Yes.
They did.
Well, that's good. That's a start anyway.
It was better than what you two and myself earlier on, it's like, nope, there it is, it's money, get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully. And then, that same day, just 'cause, well, I just wanna mention, 'cause it's an ongoing thing, but, went over to, actually physically to Bradgate, DD 84, ongoing concern, took a look at that, with Jason from Jacobson Westergaard and Rick and Travis Peterson, who agreed to at least do some exploratory, a little bit of work on the very outlet end of that tile, to at least get a start on it, so that's something. Not making any promises, but it's just a heck of a deal over there.
Could you get down to the outlet, is the river low enough, you could see it?
Yes. Yep, so, just want everybody to know that we're working on it, you know, everybody's heard about it, and we're at least getting something done, and hopefully here within the next couple of weeks, we'll have some information from what potentially is some exploratory work at that outlet end, to see what the heck is going on there. And then, did have met with a county citizen on Thursday, the gist of it, concern on the road maintenance, and it would be up in more or less the Odison area. I just wanna mention that, and there is some concern there as well, that I'm sure we'll have more discussion on as we move forward, but anyway, so, I was on from one side of the county to the other, looking at stuff, and, like I said, the big thing was, I thought a good conversation with the Secretary of Agriculture. So that's my past week.
I was out there for that meeting on Friday, and that was all I had this week.
I had, went Wednesday morning down to Des Moines, attended ISAC Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. My juvenile detention was pushed back to this next Friday, and CFR on Thursday night. They didn't have enough on the agenda that they met, but they didn't need us. But I'm not gonna give, one of the biggest meetings that we went to, Dave was over in the flooding area. Kenny and I were on the other side of the hall, and the two ladies that did this power of accountability, was like, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
Basically all of...
You had a 4 or 5 hour meeting?
Well, it went 2 hours.
Yeah.
3 different meetings.
3 different cycles.
Was that on Wednesday morning?
But she was
Yeah.
really good.
Kept your attention,
Oh, my God.
interactive.
The interaction, of course, then she was one of those that, I don't care who your neighbor is, but you are gonna talk to them now. So, physically turn, and then she'd look at you.
Yeah.
You aren't turning. So, but, we can go over some of this stuff that she talked about, but I really thought that for the 3 meetings that we got to participate with her, she did a great job. They're from out in East Coast, Connecticut, yeah.
You didn't go to that one?
I went to the
He was in flooding.
A lot of flooding.
The other one was, the, cyber.
Oh, yeah.
Did you get into that one?
That
That
was a
was
little
scary.
Definitely.
That was
We've got some
really scary.
questions.
We had some questions that we wanted to visit with you about, but,
Really a hot topic.
yeah.
Oh, it is, yeah.
Well, it changes so rapidly.
Yes.
And,
Was this cybersecurity?
The ransom, that they're
There was-
doing that,
happened to be a-
Bitcoin and all that stuff and holding,
Coincidentally-
servers.
Yeah.
Excuse me, but on 60 Minutes last night, there was a expose on that exact thing that you went to that meeting on. Yes, it's very scary.
these 3 people that did the presentation, the one guy was nothing, I'm not knocking him, but he was a complete computer whiz, geek, whatever you wanna say. He knew everything about it, and he would ask, and everybody was like, I don't know if we're doing that, 'cause really
We
wasn't
don't
sure.
know that,
They didn't
yeah.
know what he was talking about.
And...
Well, oh, yeah, that does
and he
say.
says, well, these are things that, you know, you need to go back and check. We need to have in place, because this just, they don't notify you that,
I'm
Hey, we're-
I took notes in my notes, this way, this is,
yeah, she's on her phone punching, and I'm trying to whisper to her, so we were probably the ones that were like, hey, can you guys take it out in the hall here? So, but that was, those 2 meetings, and that one and the ATV one kinda ruffled everybody's feathers about
Yeah.
a doctor that has seen a lot of accidents, and he's questioning, why the hell would these counties allow kids to drive?
Right. Or adults when they're not approved, yeah, when they're
Really,
not
the kids
approved.
aren't supposed to be driving,
No, that's, but
but they do.
But the reality
the
is,
gist of it is farm
Yeah.
kids that, you know, we started out that we were gonna let them, they're gonna spray their ditch, or they're running seed out to the dad, or they're doing this or that, well, you know, and Dean was the one that, but they had hard facts, and,
scary facts, actually.
Yeah.
of The trauma and the things that can go wrong, and if they're not even approved, knew somebody that was the engineer at Polaris, wasn't that it? And he said there was no way they should be allowed on the road.
and it
And he engineered them.
goes, you know, we were out in South Dakota, and they just come flying off the road onto the
Yeah.
highway, and they've been hit by vehicles, the two kids that were killed, just said, it's one of them things that you gotta keep an eye on, and so then we had the difference of the county, the people that said, hey, you know, we haven't had that we haven't had those acts, we haven't had them, but not to say you can't, so, anyway.
And there was other counties that said there was no way they'd ever approve it. I mean, it was kinda, I would say split, don't you think?
Yeah. But for the most part, the meetings, 3 days were
Very good.
very interesting, very good meetings, so I was
No, we
glad
had a
we...
couple that were,
Thank you for going and participating, and
Well, some of the stuff, when we get done, you can look through here and, this lady, and she has stuff online, so I think it would be beneficial to look at
for
this stuff.
department heads to look
Yeah.
through it. Did you attend that one, Peggy?
Not all of
That-
them.
not all.
I caught part of, yeah, a few of them, but I didn't get to stay for all things.
You know, they have had to work together quite a while, because they knew how to, you know,
Interact with them.
and then when they were doing their little skit, the one lady would go, "Scene!" and they were done acting, so then she'd go over and the other girl would walk away like she was mad or what.
It was pretty good.
It was very good.
Yeah. But, yet, it was entertaining, but yet it made you think, and it helped you retain, actually. Sometimes if you're just spewing out information and facts...
Spewing out numbers and stuff, it just kinda just goes in.
Yeah,
and
and
gets all garbled up.
then they had a good part of lecture and interaction with people. So, okay, I had a kitty cat, meeting last Tuesday, the 20th. And then, again, ISAC Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
what was the name of those, you said there was 3 separate,
Yep.
like, sessions that you attended? What was
Yeah,
the
one
general...
is the power of accountability,
Power of
and the other
accountability.
one's, feedback is a gift, getting, feedback from your workforce, working with them, and then managing energy. In a world that sucks you dry.
So they were all tied together, though?
Like emotional
Mhm.
energy rather than energy.
Correct, correct.
Okay.
And then they had the 30-day challenge where, what are you gonna do at the end to change whatever? So I'm visiting with this elderly gentleman in front of me, and he goes, well, somebody will rename, their name will be, I won't tell you who it is, but a daughter tells me I should lose weight, so my 30-day challenge would be, I'm gonna lose weight. So the next day, I see him at lunch. He's got his plate. I said, so, how's your challenge going? He just looked at me and goes, we didn't exchange email or phone numbers because we were supposed to. He says, we didn't exchange numbers, so you didn't see this. In other words, mind your own business.
Okay, Tuesday the 20th, at the courthouse here, and we signed the loan papers for Sheldon Park cottages, cabins,
Perfect.
for RAC and Corn Belt. Then we went out and visited the site, of course it had rained, and it was nothing but mud. So,
Did they get their picture anyway?
they got their picture. Everybody had to clean their shoes off when they
Has
got
it
back.
poured any concrete yet?
No. They got the forms, it's formed up and the plumbing's in, the electric's in, but they don't have it, concrete in it yet. And then Wednesday and Thursday, I was in Isaac. I come back Thursday night, and, come back, met out there with Mike Nag. And then from there, I went and looked at, digging out here north of town in Grove Township that we've got a little controversy over. And then on Sunday, I went back out there last night and I took some pictures to see, because he told Trish that everything was done. I don't see where it's done. And you don't leave piles on the side of it all the way around where you dug it out and dumped it. You don't leave 10 whistles laying there and rocks laying there. And he wasn't supposed to clean just the sloughing, and he's probably cleaned a mile.
Who is doing that work, Dave?
And,
Yeah, this pertains to this map.
Oh, okay.
On Thursday, these two went to another program across the hall, and I went to the, Building a More Flood Resilient Iowa Flood Information System, Vision for Iowa, the Iowa Watershed Approach, preparing for the next flood. Picked up quite a few tips. I did not know that Iowa had a flood center. It, started in 2009, they opened a flood center in Des Moines, and there's the program on it. They can pinpoint, well, if you get rain, and it comes down, say you get 5 or 6 inches of rain at the Minnesota border coming down, they can pick that up and they can track where it's gonna flood, how much it's gonna flood, and it takes 5 days for the water up there to hit the mouth of the Des Moines where it dumps out. And,
Surprised it didn't take longer.
yeah, it takes 5 days, and they can pinpoint it, they can go in there and you put your town...
They'll tell you what your water level will be.
And they can predict how much your water's gonna be and how widespread the flooding's gonna be.
Oh, well, that's an apple.
There's a website you can go to that...
Yeah, it's on the Iowa Flood Center, you can go on their website.
People on
The rivers do
around
that?
here watch that, so they know how high to sandbag.
Oh, I never
I never knew that, and didn't know they had a flood center. It was very interesting. One thing I found out, if you got a hog house out here, or a chicken house, and it's flooded, the owner walks away, the county owns them animals and buildings. If he walks away from it...
If it gets flooded?
If it's flooded around it, or he just sits the heck with it and walks away, the county owns that. I didn't know that.
Oh, he's an asshole.
Fence lines, out trees, the dump, that took out one of the big bridges, cost them $2.8 million to put it back in. Silted in behind the dams, caused flooding. And, they've got a policy out, the state's got out now to upsize all road crossings going underneath the road when you replace them. So if these guys are putting culverts under the roads, they need to upsize them. If they're taking one out, it's gotta be upsized. And, if you're gonna build a housing area, make sure you check in and see if it's in a floodplain of any kind before you build it. FEMA's new rating, will be 2.0 after October 19th. But there's all kinds of stuff I got picked up. It should have been a good place for our emergency manager to be. A lot of emergency managers was in there and taking that class. It started at 9 in the morning, they just kept jumping, people talking. But, one of them was Buchanan County, Iowa. The EMA gave part of the program. And, like I say, it's very interesting, the whole thing was interesting to me. The home setup and stuff, that just blew my mind, you know, why would the county own it? If it's flooded and the guy walks away and you got 2,400 head of cattle or hogs or chickens out there, the county owns it. The county will have to dispose of them. So, there was a lot of interesting stuff on it, flooding, how to go fast and see what, how big the flooding gets and where it's gonna be. The watershed areas, they talked about slowing the water down, slowing the flood water down. And from what I can gather, they didn't say it down there, but talking to some of the other supervisors, that's against the law. They was talking about taking terraces out, putting drains out there to drain it, draining areas, and he says you can't do that, that's against the law.
Well, yeah, to slow water down, it is
Slow the water
against,
down.
it's against the drainage law.
Yeah, it's drainage.
Not impede the flow of water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what,
They had an argument going back and forth about that.
But I can see where you don't need to speed it up any more than what it already is.
yeah, no, but then, one of the things Dave mentioned in the meeting, that could upsize the, culvert
Which does speed it up.
the culvert type structures, and so, not like they were really, I mean, all that stuff is great. Unfortunately, we're getting 500-year rains every year.
More and more.
And the water is moving downstream faster. I don't care what these engineers say, that by tiling, it slows it down, so they tell us, but I don't believe
I think
that.
we're just getting more and more.
Yeah, when you replace a 24 with a 60,
It's gotta.
it's gonna go
I mean,
faster.
There's a book on, the flood center, it's in your celebration on it, if you want to look at it. But it was very interesting meetings. Like I say, I took off Thursday night after the meetings and left.
Well, he probably just got frustrated at Friday morning's meeting anyway, so.
Probably was.
Lovely Friday morning.
I figured the two of you
Mental
were
health.
going to it.
Oh,
and I didn't
that would
stick
get you,
around.
Well,
My mouth got going.
the lady next to me, I would tell you this, I don't think we're gonna have to worry about anybody,
not only...
walking over someone else, because she took the mic and let them know that that's really not how we talked about this, and I'm like, okay.
The Access Center has always been talked about being in Webster County, which would take care of the north central region. They've moved it to Waterloo. There's already 4 or 5, maybe 6 access centers in the
In that area.
eastern
In that area
city,
with Iowa
within-
City.
Right, yeah, all the way down there. I'm like, what about us? This is not what we talked about. I've been supporting this all along, this whole agenda, and then this is the first I heard of it, so I was not happy.
And I was mad too, but I knew I shouldn't take the mic, because I was probably gonna say something that,
No, I can't believe, we were all of us, even Clarence from Pocahontas, he did not know about it. He had no clue. 'Cause that's what he said too, he said, what?
the top 2 tiers of the county, and the 22 that basically we are
Right.
in with, the closest for all of them is gonna be Webster,
Waterloo.
It was Webster.
It was Webster, which would have been fine, because that would have even taken care of some of the northwest. Because they have one in Sioux City, but, you know, like, the ones just past Emmett and all that, 'cause
Yeah.
Emmett's in ours. But that would have helped that area too. So, I wanna get that presentation, I wanna get that map.
Then our friend,
Yeah, I was
he
disappointed with
spoke,
that.
but then all of a sudden, they just left.
Yeah, Bob Lincoln and Karen, and I was really disappointed that they just, because I had some questions, I wanted to ask them some questions about it, and so did Mark and Clarence, and then they were gone. So, I was, yeah.
The first 20 miles on the way headed north was fairly interesting conversation.
Yeah.
But we got through it, Dave.
Good.
And they had a good breakfast on Friday morning, too.
They always do.
Yeah.
It beats the egg, whatever it was. that we-
Oh, my
That was a
God,
little
that was a one-biter.
suspect.
That was,
Oh, yeah.
Like, they called it a Mexican something, and it was,
and there was no one else with it, no fruit, no nothing.
it was like heartburn city.
We had bananas and oranges and apples
Oh, that's
with
what they
it.
did down there.
And then they had this casserole thing.
Yeah.
I even looked in the other pan.
I did too, Dave.
To see if, darn it.
Oh, well. Okay.
Put a hot sauce on it, it's all right.
I'd be excellent.
Okay, anything else? Peggy, you got anything for us? Okay, any other items of business come before the board?
Oh, I probably should mention, that you said that. I did get, some information from the people doing our website. They've got a mock-up that they want me to take a look at, so we can see if it looks okay, so we can progress further. So that's further than where we were before. He said we're pretty close to being done, so he didn't give me a timeline like I asked him, you know, you guys wanted some kind of a timeline. But, he said we're really close.
Okay, good.
Okay?
Well, we'll get him to look really close, and probably the next time we meet, hopefully we'll have a answer by then in 2 weeks that they've moved forward.
Did want to let you know too, if you get any comments from people, there were probably 3 board meetings that didn't get uploaded to the county website. Part of it was, there was an issue with, someone from the DOT had come and worked on a machine back there, and it was close to where the recording thing is, and somehow, and whether it was that or whether it was a power outage or what, but the power wasn't on it, so it wasn't recording.
Oh, got shut off.
So we didn't realize it until the second meeting, and then by then it was too late, so those we can't recover at all. And then the third one was like, we all got new computers in here, and so when I went to upload the video, it wouldn't connect. What was on my machine wouldn't connect to the website, so I had to have, Austin, who was our developer and worked with us on our old website, had to have him get on there and connect the two, so now today's meeting should be fine.
We haven't had nothing too controversial lately, so that'll be okay.
Yeah. Well, we've got our great reporters here that...
We do.
Don't miss a thing, they don't. You know, we talked about the project up there in Cassuth County, where they're doing some drainage repair. The supervisors were under the impression that someone would come and visit with us. They're gonna send assistant engineer, Boltman Mink, I believe.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, who's the engineer on that project? Bolton, eh?
You wanna, yeah.
County!
They didn't have...
They're not gonna send Kent, because he won't come, and we don't want him to. But, they have an assistant guy that's good, you know.
I looked for their booth down there.
See anything?
No, they didn't have a booth.
Good for looking. So, this was discussion this past week, and I said, where's your representative? Because, you know, I think I mentioned this 2-3 weeks ago. He hasn't been there? I said, obviously, no. Well, so, supposedly, the 16th. I said, probably not the 9th because of the, who knows what's going on, and I said, that could be a little longer than me, but I said the 16th. They haven't really started on it, they're in the bid letting process, so it's not an ongoing project, but, so supposedly the 16th, they're gonna send a representative from Bolton and Mink to just kind of explain the project to us. So,
Okay.
that's the story on that. Headaches with our tower, taking the general consensus of the board, we're not paying anything till it's done. That bill of $25,000, give or take, was materials. They're still waiting for some materials to finish the structural work, and it certainly appears that when they are done with the structural work, this is Murphy Tower, they consider themselves done and will not install the equipment, period.
Okay.
Just so you know, through all this fun stuff, something about Murphy Tower is not happy with Motorola, because something to the effect that they feel they've been denied work because Motorola is in charge of all of these new upgrade systems. So...
I figured there was something going on.
There's something going on.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, just talking with other counties, there's several other counties that are in the same boat, but they're way back, further behind than where we are, so they're like, how did you guys, I said, it's been a long,
Very, very
long and
frustrating.
tedious road, and they're just getting, this was mandated by the state, right?
With
the new radios.
Gaining on that, yes.
Motorola's got the whole state,
Right.
so you don't have any options.
Right, so that's what I said, we're all basically being led down the road, and we
Yeah.
have to do it according to the state, so you really have very limited ability to...
Yeah, you don't have any options.
Not if you go down that road, no, you got one option to
And if you
upgrade the
don't go
equipment.
down that road, you're gonna be that little island out here who can't communicate with anybody else.
So,
We thought we were being proactive when the lightning strike and the new...
Oh, we were.
And still are.
We're ahead of
But
the
it's,
game.
yeah, like Bruce said in discussion, the ones that aren't even started, they got a long muddy road to go down with any of this. So we're involved in it, we're gaining slowly. But that's about where we're at, I just wanna update. And I have been in contact with the parties at the Motorola, the electronic character, Steve Cook. They're all very discouraged with the tower, but they, basically, the take of the
Now,
county,
to find a different company to install.
they're working on that. They're aware of all this, yep. They just, what do you do? And you don't know this going into it. You don't know that, you know, that's their take. 'Cause
I was under the impression when, earlier, like six months ago, that Murphy was gonna strengthen the tower, put the equipment on while they were there.
Yep.
Steve comes in and plugs in all the wires and we're up and running.
You know what? So was everyone else. They did kind of an end around and said, no, we just don't do it. They've been...
Because then you got a little fight going between Murphy Tower and Motorola.
That's about the just, that is it, right there. And that's, we're in the middle.
Because Motorola probably isn't giving Murphy Tower enough business.
Yeah, and like you said, you got one, because the state, like Bruce said, kind of mandated it. They got, for all this equipment statewide, if any counties are gonna do it, so they can shut everybody out and they can dictate, they're the ones that are gonna do it. But, well, it's a headache, and it's still a headache. But, if anybody asks, we're not paying anything until their work can be signed off on, completed, and we'll just have to close that out, and Steve Cook and Kathy Gerhard are working on the installation part of the equipment. So talk about a headache.
right.
Huge.
Wow.
But that's the update, which is just expounded on what I told you last week, so.
Okay, anything else?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.